What's up, guys? Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family. Hope that you got a full belly and had a house full of people. Hopefully, those people you enjoyed spending time with. But yesterday morning, and I recorded a video yesterday, and I was gonna post it, but I didn't get around to it. Just got busy, just announcing this, and I'm gonna do this little mini business boot camp. So I'm going to record these every morning today, which is Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, Saturday morning, Sunday morning. So I woke up with you guys on my mind, and I don't know why exactly, other than I just, I'm just on a mission to help other HVAC contractors or other trade contractors, help them any way I can to not go through the struggles that I went through, to not, you know, to not suffer maybe as much as I did, because there's just different things. And I do get people all the time that reach out to me and say, hey, you shared this, I did this, and it's helped me tremendously, whether you know it or not. And I love that because that's why I do these things. So today I want to share with you, we're going to do HMC, HVAC Millionaire Coaching. We're going to do a little mini boot camp, just to share some things that can help you get unstuck. I'm going to focus on three things: getting you unstuck, getting you moving forward again. Like if you feel like every day you wake up and you're just not sure what you should be doing, or you're busy, you see what's happening to the economy, to equipment prices. You got competitors that you're dealing with. Maybe the relationships with your spouse is not what you would like it to be because of work. Maybe you're stressed out. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you feel beat up by your business. I know I've felt that way many, many times, and it's not a good feeling, and it's not something that we enjoy. Or maybe your business is doing great, and you've got you're super excited. And that's one thing that I will tell you is that I get excited about my business. We're going to be going into year 14 of business, and I'm still just as excited as I was back then. I don't get excited about running calls or anything like that because that's something that I don't want to do anymore. I've been doing this since I was 19 years old when I got married. Well, we just celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary last August. And so 25 years, I know there's guys out there still grinding after 35, 40, or not 35. Well, I'm sure there's some are, but 30 years in the business, still running calls, still doing installs. And my hat goes off to you guys. That was not what I wanted. I worked my fingers to the bone until my body just hurt so bad. And my body started breaking down. Like some of you guys don't know, but I tore a piece of my chest. I was in a crawl space and I had a line set going up through the floor. And I say it was like this. It's like curved going up through the floor. I grab onto it with my left arm and I go and pushed it with my arm extended. And it just ripped a piece of my chest off. Felt like a shoulder injury. So I crawled out of the crawl space, went to the bathroom, ripped my shirt off, couldn't see any damage. Went ahead and kept working. I remember pulling the furnace out on a dolly, and I was the yard was rough, so it was sitting there tipping and rocking back and forth on my way out to the van to load it. And it went like this and tipped, and I reached out with that arm that had been hurt and grabbed it, trying to keep it from falling off the dolly, and just about fell to my knees. And a couple days later, I decided I better go to the doctor for it. And that was a minor injury. It took me probably 8 to 12 months to recover from that and get my strength back. Went to physical therapy. Never missed a day of work. Just had like an hour physical therapy once or twice a week. Before that, I had a bulge disc that I was throwing some duct work like some bigger flex, it's like 18-inch flex. I was throwing it up onto a lift, a scissor lift. And I just went to throw it up there, and it just something felt like somebody kicked me in the top of my butt with a steel toe boot. Just felt like a Charlie horse. And by the time I got home that night, I kept working. But by the time I got home that night, I couldn't stand long enough to take a shower. I had squat down, because when I squatted down and kind of leaned to my left, it would relieve the pressure just enough to, and then to allow me to be able to stand again. So at some point, the body can start breaking down, and that can affect your confidence in what you're doing and what you're building. And it can affect your tenacity, your determination, your resilience. And so I never missed a day of work. I pride myself on that. Through that bulge disc situation, I bought myself one of those teeter machines that tips you upside down, which I don't go upside down. I go about a 45-degree angle. And that thing's over in my, if you want to call it, my living room. And I still use it today. If my back starts going bad, I'll jump on that thing. So you guys, get you one of those things. We got to make sure that we are not afraid to spend some money, that it's going to extend our health, and help us continue to do what we need to do in business every day. But the reality was just this last summer, I had 3 guys. We had hired a bunch of guys before this happened, but I had 3 guys quit. And so I jumped in the field for the first time in a couple of years to just help on some installs. And we spent almost all day in an attic. I was up there till like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm 45 years old now, and I hadn't built myself back up to that. I did pretty well. I'm pretty proud of my performance. But the young guys that were working with me that day, just amazing young men that don't stop moving, and the heat didn't affect them like it affected me. So that's what I'm saying is, as you get older, this work becomes very, very taxing, very difficult. And that's why we want to build businesses. So I'm going to share my screen here, and let's get into it. Here we go. Let me kick us into presentation mode. See what we do here. Yeah. There we go. Okay. So HVAC Millionaire Coaching, we do have a coaching program. Me and another coach that we do. And on that program, I'm telling you guys, like, the things that you don't, like, nobody wants to hear that. You want the latest strategy, the latest technique. And I know, because I was there. That's what I did. That's what I did for like 6 years straight. I just searched and searched and searched. And I got into these different programs and paid over $100,000 on my own coaching, just for my business, because I wanted to learn what are the strategies, the techniques. And so I learned all that. And with HVAC Millionaire Coaching, you get that. You do get that. I've built a course that has all that in there. But what you really need, if you want to build your business, is you got to increase your energy. Like, nobody pays attention to that or talks about that. It's all about the latest sales technique, And like I said, I've got that in the course too. It's all there. But you need more courage to have difficult conversations, to make moves that you haven't made before. You need to keep your mind right. Like, you got to keep your mind out of the gutter, and you got to be looking forward, thinking ahead, and maintaining a positive attitude, because if you get negative, then that rubs off on everybody in your company. And these are things, so that has to do with your psychology. And then we've got your physiology. It makes a difference. Makes a difference how you walk, how you talk, how you present yourself to your customers, to your team. And these are all going to make you better leaders. So when you become a better leader, then you're able to do more in your business. And that's what this is all about. But we also cover areas of focus and productivity, time management. Like, there's just nothing we don't touch. But these are the main things. Like when you increase your productivity, your energy, your physiology, your psychology, your self-esteem, your courage, like then you can actually start moving forward. So let's get into it. So this is going to be part one of a 3-part series. I'll record tomorrow morning, or I may record it today so I can have it ready to go tomorrow morning. But today, these are the things we're going to talk about. It's just going to be a 3-part story, a 3-part series. Today, we're going to talk about getting unstuck. So if you're feeling stuck or you're not moving as fast as you'd like to move, then this is for you. If you want to expand your revenue because you're afraid to hire that next person or afraid to buy that next van or buy that building, then this is for you. So we're going to talk deep on expanding your revenue. If you just can't seem to do the things that you know you need to do, then that's what this first part's going to be about, getting unstuck. And then we'll talk finally. So today we're going to talk about getting unstuck and expanding yourself. Then tomorrow we'll talk about expanding your revenue. And then we're going to talk about expanding your team. So, because all of those things have to happen in order for your business to grow. So getting unstuck. What I'm talking about here is blaming, complaining, justifying, and defending. There are beliefs that you have surrounding sales. And sales is like a 4-letter word to a lot of HVAC contractors who used to be service technicians and then now they own a business. Well, I've talked about mindset here recently. Like, you're not a service tech anymore. You've got to get that out of your head. You're a business owner. And because you're a business owner, your focus has to be about the business, not just about replacing parts and fixing customers' broken furnace. It's way more than that. So you got to get out of that mindset, get into the business owner mindset. And the things that keep us from getting into that mindset are blaming, complaining, justifying, defending. So this is a very simple formula that you have to adopt. You absolutely have to adopt it, which is E plus R equals O. There's an event, then your response to that event, which is the only thing we can control, is going to equal your outcome. A story real quick is if somebody is, if they're in line, let's say they're in line, so they're heading to work and there's a traffic jam, right? Reporter's out there and the reporter goes to the first person in a car that's stuck in the traffic jam, and they roll down the window, they do a short interview, and that person says, yeah, I'm going to be late again. I hate this town. I hate this city. I mean, if it's not construction that's holding me back, then there's somebody got in a wreck or something. And here I am, my boss is going to be pissed. And then they walk down to the next car and that person says, they roll down the window and they're like, oh, it's no big deal. Because there's so many wrecks on this interstate, I leave early every morning. I got some music that I love downloaded, or I got an audiobook downloaded. So I'm using this time to learn. I got a thermos, full of coffee. So I'm good there. So I figure if I'm late, my boss probably going to understand once they see that there was a wreck ahead, and that's what kept me from being late. Now, who's going to have a better outcome? Well, the person who planned and prepared will have always a better outcome, but it's a choice. The response is a choice. And if you choose a different response, then you're going to get a different outcome. And that's what we're talking about. We can't blame the economy, our vendors who continue to raise our rates on all of our equipment, our competitors, our weather, when the weather doesn't cooperate with our business. Like, we can't continue to blame all of that stuff for our outcomes. Because if that's what's keeping us from being successful, then nobody would be successful, because these things are always happening. They don't ever stop. The problem with events is oftentimes the event will change drastically, and the owner will just continue to respond the same way. And then they wonder why their outcomes isn't what they want. So when these events happen, we have to change our response, try a different response. And this is all based off of taking, responses to one thing that we have control over. So if you're not getting the outcome that you want, then change your response. Obviously, seems obvious when you look at it like this, but here are the things in our businesses that we can control. And there's there's a 28 more things or 50 more things that we control too. But we control our hourly rate. We control the training that we provide our people and ourselves. We control our productivity. We control the average invoice. We control closing percentages. We control efficiency. We control leads, follow-up, and processes. If we just fix these things, we're going to see drastic changes in our business. It's going to, if all these things are not lining up currently, and we change our response to these things, then the hourly rate just isn't what it is. Like, you have control over that. The amount of training that you provide to yourself and your people, you have control over that 100%. So we have two choices when it comes to E plus R equals O. If you just adopt this one thing, it will drastically change your life, drastically change your business. So let me say that again. Adopt this one thing, this simple equation, E plus R equals O. Just remember that you have the choice to blame the event for the lack of results that you're getting, which I did for many, many years. I blamed people. I blamed the economy. I blamed the weather. I blamed the government. I blame my general manager. I blame technicians. I blame my wife. I blame I blame the IRS. Like, I blamed all of these things. So I understand if that's where you're at and you're blaming these things, but I'm telling you, you two choices right here. Or number two, you change the responses to the events that are happening to you and your business until you get the outcome you want. So if I'm going to a destination and I've got different routes that I can take, if I take a route and I don't wind up at my destination, I have a choice. I can redirect, course correct, and change the way I'm going so I make sure to make it to my destination. Or I can just keep traveling along, missing my destination entirely, and complain about it. So you get how ridiculous that is when you put it that simply, but that's what's happening. That's what happens in our minds. So your choice, you can continue to blame, complain, justify, and defend. And what that's going to equal is no change, no solution, no growth, no sale, no people, no income, no work, and ultimately just no future. You're going to stay stuck. And I don't want to see you stay stuck, because that's a painful place to be. So we have to expand ourselves. And here's the thing, when you look at this picture here, like, we have so many different choices, and that can be like overwhelm. A confused mind says no. So when there's so many choices to pick from, sometimes that's exactly what keeps us stuck. We don't move forward because we're overwhelmed with the amount of choices that we have. So, here's what I can tell you is that one of these things that I'm going to list is going to be the reason why we are stuck. We've got a skills deficit, maybe a thinking deficit, communication deficit, leadership deficit, a vision deficit. This is a big one. In the Bible, it says, without a vision, the people perish. So that includes you. if you don't have a big vision of what you want to do in life, and including in your business or with your family or with your finances, with your health, with your relationships, if you don't have a big vision, then it's going to go nowhere. And nobody's going to join your company if you don't have a big vision. Because when I talk about vision, think about this, just consider this. When John F. Kennedy said, we're going to send a man to the moon, that's such a big vision at the time that people changed their college majors. They literally changed their college. They're like, hey, I want to be a part of that. So they changed their college majors so they could go to work on getting a man to the moon. That's a big vision. It enrolls people. So you've got to understand, you have to have a big vision if that's what you want to do. If you want to actually grow your business to a big business, or a bigger business than what you currently have, even if it's whatever you want, you still got to have a vision. And the bigger your vision, the more people are going to want to get involved to make that vision happen. You may have a planning deficit, and salesmanship deficit. Like if you just want to fix everything and you're not interested in giving people the option of replacing it, then you're going to have a problem with your business, because, how many service calls do you have to do to make up the revenue for one install? Have you thought about that? You need to be thinking about that. Like, how are you going to grow your business if you just fix everything that's fixable? Well, you're often, more times than not, you're making a decision. And I did the same thing, guys. I'm not beating you up. I'm helping you become aware. Is when we don't give the customer an option to go with some new equipment that's more efficient, that's got warranties, and then we can make some other changes, maybe to the ductwork or their filter access, or upgrade the thermostat, all these things. Then you're making the decision for them. And this is what we do. This is what contractors do, especially service technicians turned business owners, is we think we're doing them a favor by replacing that part for as cheaply as possible. Well, you're a business owner now. Your business needs revenue to grow. And there's nothing shady about that, because it's still in the customer's best interest. Is it not in the customer's best interest to buy a new furnace when they've got an 18-year-old furnace and it's $600 repair? Is it worth putting $600 into an 18-year-old furnace? Like if that's what I would highly suggest you just go back to work for somebody if that's how you believe, because you're going to struggle in business. You're going to suffer immensely. And that suffering, it's going to flow into your relationships. It's going to flow into your health. It is a guarantee that the suffering that we go through as contractors, if we don't get out of that suffering, it's going to shorten our lives, because the stress is overwhelming, and it puts a lot of pressure on your heart and causes people to fall over dead with heart attacks. So in order to relieve some of that stress, we need sales, because sales will fix almost anything. It also hides up and covers up a lot of things that are wrong, but you can fix those. You can continue to work on those things and make them right, as long as you're paying attention to what's happening in your company. So back to E plus R equals O, there's 3 responses that you have control over. Number 1, your behavior, and your behavior, including what you say and how you say it. If you're constantly saying there's no good people, then guess what you're going to find? You're going to find exactly what you're looking for, because your mind is looking for anything it can find to prove you right. So if our behavior includes there's no good people, well, what else? How else will that the behavior might be, if it's not talking about it in a negative way, with negative beliefs, false negative beliefs, then if it's not talking, then it's going to be behaving. So maybe you don't have anything posted anywhere, offering job offers, no hiring ads anywhere, because in your internal belief is that there's nobody out there. Well, I'm not saying that it's not shallow, like as far as like what's out there, but there are good people out there. So, but you got to advertise somewhere for them to even have an idea that you're hiring, or for them to find you. The second thing that you have control over is your thoughts, the self-talk, what you're telling yourself. So if you're telling yourself all the time, like there's no good people, then I start believing that, and it'll become an internal belief. And my mind is so good at proving me right. It's going to make sure that there could be somebody great standing right in front of me, and I'm not going to see it, because I believe and I say and I think that there's nobody good out there. But these are both conscious and unconscious beliefs. And the third thing is your visual imagery. Pictures are worth 1,000 words. We oftentimes will go to a picture of what this is going to be like. Like you'll envision yourself just struggling for the next 5 years because you can't find any good people to come on your company, if that's your belief. So all of these things, the good news is that we can control these things. So that's it for this episode. The next episode, be sure to check it out tomorrow morning. I'm going to release it, and it's going to be expanding your revenue. We're going to talk about the 6 ways to expand the revenue in the business. So I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you. I just appreciate you guys. Appreciate you subscribing. Appreciate leaving a comment below, liking this video. If this resonated with you, if I hit a chord somewhere and you're like, I'm kind of going through that. Well, if you're going through that, that's why I'm making these videos, is because I want to make sure to snap you out of it. Because what we're talking about ultimately is taking 100% responsibility for everything that happens in your business, whether it's your fault or not. What we do know is that if you take 100% responsibility, then that opens up the possibility for you to change your response. However, if you're stuck in the blaming, complaining, justifying, defending, then there's no possibility. Like, you can't change it. So if we just accept the fact that it's our fault, if we don't have any people coming to work for us, that's just such a big one. So I'm kind of hammering that one. And if we can't find people to come to work for our business, then, and our beliefs are that there's nobody out there, well, then that is, that's exactly what we're going to get. That's exactly what we're going to get. And who am I to say that everything is 100% our responsibility, or everything's our fault, like every single thing? Because we have agreements in society, like we agree to drive on the right side of the road, but once in a while, somebody's going to veer across that center lane and somebody's going to get killed. Now, if somebody, or you've been in an accident like that, is that your fault? I'm not here to say that it's your fault. But if I just maintain my victim mentality, and I'm probably, if I survive that wreck, I'm probably going to have a miserable life the rest of my life, because it's always going to be about what happened to me. Where it happened, it's the past, so we can't go back and change the past. All we can change is right now, the future. So if we're going to change our future from here on out, then we have to begin to take responsibility. What if it was my fault? Well, then my mind goes to, well, what can I do to change it? If my wife's mad at me for something, I'm going to immediately think, what did I do wrong? Because that's the only way I'm going to have, let's see, there's That's the only way I'm going to be able to come with some type of resolve. But if I'm like, oh, she's just mad, she's just mad, it's all her. It's not me. It's her. Well, then there's nothing I can do to fix it because I'm blaming. And every decision that you've made up until now, that happened in the past. So if your responses haven't been good to the events happening in your life and business, then it does no good to continue to reflect on those and beat ourselves up over it. What matters is that we're aware right now and we can move forward. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys enjoy this whole series. So take 100% responsibility for everything happening in your business. Change your responses, and that's going to get you unstuck, and it's going to open up the doors for more opportunity and possibility. And that's the first step, just becoming aware that there is opportunity around you everywhere. There are people around you who would love to come work for you, who share the same values and characteristics as you, who want more in life. So we're going to talk about, like I said, tomorrow's lesson. Be sure to check it out. 6 different ways to expand your revenue. Love you guys. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I'll have a happy Thanksgiving. I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving, and we will see you later. Peace. Go make money. Boom.